Beautiful love, beautiful love, beautiful love. I'm not gonna even let this get me down. I'm not gonna let this get me down. I'm not gonna let this get me down. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It took us a minute to get here. I have recorded this video a billion times at this point. I just recorded this video 2 minutes before this, and my mic wasn't charged, so it literally recorded with no audio the whole way through. So we are going to record this video, no mic, but this message has to get out. The enemy has really been trying to stifle me. He's been trying to keep me. Well, I'm not gonna even just give it all to the devil, because really and truly, like, I ain't even gonna give him that much power. I have been getting in my own way, to be honest. I have been allowing my insecurities and the things that I always grew up thinking weren't good enough to keep me from walking in purpose and walking in power and walking with my head held high with confidence. So no longer. We are recording and dropping this video, period. Welcome to my channel. Oh gosh, I'll never get tired of saying my channel. It's my channel, my channel, my channel. You know, they're like, my man, my channel, my channel, my channel. Today I want to talk about my testimony, and I just want to share with you guys how God rescued me from me, how he saved my life from myself. And it's funny because, like, as I'm thinking about my testimony and have been talking about my testimony, I just keep thinking about, even now, I'm living in a testimony. Like, the test that I'm going through right now is going to be a testimony to share one day. And I say that to say that don't ever let the enemy keep you from sharing your testimony. Everything that you've gone through, every test that you go through is meant to turn into a testimony. God is going through things with you, so that way when you come out on the other side, you can share it with other people. So that way when they're going through things, they can know to lean on God. They can know how God got you through it, so that way they can get through it as well. Or they might can even avoid some things. I wish I could have avoided some things. But that's okay, because now I got some testimonies to share. The best way to really dive into understanding how I see that turning point for me of, just really walking in faith with God is really, the two women talked about in the book of Proverbs. And I know a lot of us know about the Proverbs 31 woman who, all of us, we all want to be. And if you don't want to be her, you should want to be her, sis. But there is another woman in Proverbs, the Proverbs 7 woman, who is a lot more promiscuous in these streets, trying to get these men caught up, but where I resonate with that story, or with those two women, is that the Proverbs 7 woman and the Proverbs 31 woman both knew God. They both had a knowledge of God, knew he existed. They were not ignorant to God. The Proverbs 7 woman wasn't ignorant to God even in her mess. And same with, of course, the Proverbs 31 woman. But the thing that separated the two women is that not only did the Proverbs 31 woman know God, she was a follower of God. She was a woman of God. And that really is, those two things is really what sets apart most of my life to now. There was a period, I grew up in church. It ain't even a period. Like, my whole life, I've known God. I've been in church. My great-grandfather was a pastor. My grandfather was a pastor. My dad is a preacher. Like, at the church when the doors open, was leaving when the doors were closing. And maybe sometimes we were the ones closing the doors. Like, I knew church. I knew God. I was, baptized at 11 or 12. Really thought that I knew what I was doing out here. And I think at that age, I did have a good understanding of what I was doing at 12. But, you know, I was going to all the church camps and leader of this and doing all of these different things. But I don't think that it really ever resonated with me that what God is really wanting from us is not just to know who he is, or not just to know that he exists or know that he's God, but like get to know, what does that mean for me? Because him being God is not just about him being God. I mean, like, he wants to be God in relationship with us. His goodness, his mercy, his love, his joy, his peace, his patience, all of those things are meant to be beneficial for us. He's not just those things just to be those things. He wants to give those things to us. He wants to outpour those things onto us. And so I never really could grasp that concept for so long. I mean, I lived after high school, you know, you get to college, you've lived a very sheltered life your whole life, you wowed out. And so I very much so did wow out. I mean, I lived what I thought was my best life at the time. And I thought that, well, I call myself a Christian. I've been baptized. I go to church. I know some scriptures. I know, you know, the books of the Bible. Like, I'm a Christian. You can't tell me otherwise. You know, and that's how I lived. I wowed it out, but went to church on Sunday. I cussed, drank, smoked, you know, had sex, all of these things Monday through Saturday. I was going to be at church on Sunday, or at the, you know, services that we would have on campus on Thursdays. I was going to do that, but really living a life that exemplified the God that I said that I served really wasn't something I was doing, you know. It wasn't until a year and some months ago, so I'd say about September, October of 2021 is when God woke me up. I was deep in all of my mess. I mean, the consequences of my sin were eating me alive. And then I started watching the sermon series by Dr. Matthew Stevenson called Group Therapy. Y'all, this sermon series, I mean, it exposed all of the things in my life. And not so much of like the sin that I was committing at that moment, or really even the sin, but the root of a lot of those sins that I was attached to and desired. It exposed a lot of the unhealed trauma in my life, the toxic things in my life that had grown into weeds in my life. And from unforgiveness and hatred and just insecurity things and just so many things that he exposed in that sermon series that really did a number on me. And I was like, all right, God, I can't keep living like this. I can't keep saying I'm a Christian and I'm not forgiving people. I can't keep saying I'm a Christian and I hate certain people and I'm, you know, talking about people and I'm mad at people and I'm living at home with my parents, but I really can't stand them. You know, I had to work on those things. Those things are exposed, but that wasn't really all that God was trying to do in that moment. And I didn't understand truly what the point of that period was, but I think that I needed like a surface understanding of what God was wanting to do with me first before he could do with me and take me where he was wanting me to go. It got to a point where I went on a trip. I was coming back home from that trip, really, and God, I don't think I'd ever heard God talk to me so clearly. I'd always said, oh yeah, God told me this, God told me that. But no, this is one time out of all of the times that I can say, God told me this. I was dating someone. We had been together for about 1 year and 3 months at this point. And he was like, you need to get out of that relationship because where I'm taking you, he can't go. What I want to do with you, he can't be a part of. And it's not to say anything against him, but you know, I understand what God meant now that 1 year later, you know, more so just that he had to work on me before I could even be in relationship with someone else. He had to heal me before I could even know how to communicate with someone or have a healthy relationship with someone else. I got home, I was like, God, I'm not gonna tell him that you said that. I'll tell him some of the other stuff, you know, like that you want to do all these great things in my life and how I need to work on my relationship with my parents, and I'll tell him all of those things, but I'm not gonna tell him about this breaking up. What you mean? And if I don't do it, what?
Get somebody else to do it.
So got home and broke up with him, long story short. And I mean, I was like, all right, God, well, this was very unexpected. I never thought that I would break up with this person. Like, I thought this was my husband. Like, we were gonna spend the rest of our lives together. I was ready. I was ready. I was like, okay, God, let's do the things. Like, you called me out this relationship. We're gonna do big things. We about to get it on and popping. And he was like, okay, you ready? Okay, you broke up with him. I'm proud of you. Good job. Good job. All right, now stop drinking. All right, now stop hanging out every weekend. All right, now let go of them relationships that you know you don't have no business being a part of. Okay, now get in my church. And I said, no, God, you're supposed to be doing the big things. Remember, like, all the things that you said that you want to do in my life? You're supposed to be doing that. Like, I did. I broke up with him. What you mean? Like, what do you mean? I broke up with him. It's time to get it on and popping. We about to turn up, remember? He was like, yeah, eventually, but I can't get you there until you do these things first. You're still not ready. And I was like, all right, God, I hear you. And honestly, I probably do need to do those things, but give me a minute. Give me like the rest of the year. And so, you know, I did that. I took November, December, and I had me a ball. It was my birthday around that time. So, you know, I'm like, okay, God, just wait until after my birthday. After my birthday is over, you have my full undivided attention. And y'all, I mean, I should not have waited until my birthday, because in the midst of heartbreak, y'all, I mean, like, my heart was broken from breaking up with old dude. Like, that wasn't an easy thing for me to do. But in the midst of heartbreak, I was trying to drown out my feelings in alcohol and weed and hanging out and being around people that I knew I didn't have no business being around, and people that had no understanding of the calling that God had placed over my life. Like, these people were just like down for a good time, not a long time, okay? And God's like, I'm trying to have you around for a long time, not just a good time. But okay, I did what I wanted to do. And let me say this. While yes, eventually at the beginning of the year, like I told him, I'm gonna get my life together. But during that 2-month period of doing what I wanted to do, there were consequences. I feel like there was heartbreak in the midst of heartbreak with people that I thought were meant to be in my life. And, you know, just once again, continuously drowning my emotions in alcohol. And all that did was pile up the problems. They just piled up. So when I did finally have time to sit down and break away from all of those things, I'm literally sitting in a pile of mess, like just a pile of all of my feelings, all of my thoughts, all of my pain, all of my trauma. And y'all, it's not worth it. When God calls you to do something, do it. Don't wait, because even if, and like I said, I did eventually say, all right, God, I'm sitting down. And I sat down, but I made it harder on myself by not doing it when he told me to do it. And he waited for me. And I'm so grateful for a God that waits, because he stood there like this. And I said, just give me a minute. He's like, one more day. Let me just, this one more turn up, and I'll be right there. And he waited for me, y'all. And I'm so grateful for a God that does that. But I did cause, you know, more pain, more heartache, more problems for myself by making him wait instead of just running to him, you know? And so don't make God wait. If he tell you to do something, do it right now. Stop this video and do it. Okay? That's for you. Whomever it's for, that's for you. Okay. So come January, I was like, all right, we're doing vision boards. Let's get our life together. I'm ready to live a life for God. I'm about to be sold out. I don't even know what that means, but I'm about to do it. All right, God. So you gonna do these businesses that's been on my heart. You gonna put all this money in my bank account that I want and I need. Right? Great. Cool. Glad we can have this conversation. While you do that, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna start reading a little bit. I'm gonna start, researching about these businesses I want to do, and I'm gonna start putting my own money into those things, and I'm gonna do that. And he let me tell him what I was gonna do for a little bit. And then I think I started doing a fast for I did the 21-day Daniel fast, and he said, all right, enough is enough, Anaya. Enough is enough. I need you to sit down, because no, what we're not gonna do is that. And I started going to a church that was down the street from my house, and joined, and I asked the pastor, where should I start? I'm fasting, where should I start in the word? And he pointed me to James. And with reading James, God showed me that what he wants above all is to have a relationship with me. And so I'm going into this year, going into this fast, like, all right, God, I have great expectation for all these things that you're going to do. And I know that you'll do them. And while, yes, he's going to do them at some point. Okay. But at that time, he wanted and desired relationship with me. He wanted and desired to work on my heart, to work on my mind, to work on all that baggage that I had accrued over the last 20-some years. He wanted to show me what loving him and being loved by him really looked like. He wanted to show me that being a Christian and saying I'm a Christian were two totally different things. He wanted relationship. He wanted relationship. And y'all, at that moment, that's when it clicked for me. It clicked why I had to get out that relationship. It clicked why he wanted me out the streets. It clicked why he wanted me to let go of certain friendships. It clicked why he wanted me to stop drinking. It clicked because there was no space for him in my life when those things were taking up all of the space. There was no priority for him in my life when the priority for me was drinking, was trying to be married, or trying to be in some relationship with somebody, or trying to, hold on to friendships that were no good for me. There was no space for him. There was no dependence on him when I was dependent on alcohol to be my relief, alcohol to be my love, alcohol to be my happiness, alcohol to be my peace, friendships to be my love, friendships to be my peace, friendships to be my joy, when that math started to math, I said, boom, okay, God, I'm all in. Now I'm really all in. Like, I was all in before because I thought that we was about to, start these businesses. We're gonna still put a pin over here in those. But now I'm all in because I understand what it is that you're wanting from me, and I understand what I get back in return. But honestly, I had all along. I just had to plug in. I just really had to tap into the Father to know what I had all along. So yeah, that was January. And then from January throughout the rest of the year, God really just navigated me into community and discipleship and, ministering and serving in the church, and just so many things that really changed the dynamic of the relationship that I have with God. And if there's anything that I could say last year was about, it was about relationship. First, I had to work on my relationship with him. And that was January to February, and understanding, who he is, what it is that he wants to do with me, just even understanding his characteristics, him being love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These are the fruits of the Spirit. What is this dance? This clearly is my dance. But understanding his characteristics, understanding that he is all things good, really was necessary for me to start to understand who I am and why he created me to be who I am, and how to love myself, how to honor myself, how to to really just be me. And from that relationship with myself, I was able to then start to know how to have relationships with other people, which is when that community plugged in for me. And I was able to start to open myself up to the type of community that was necessary for me. As we are growing in our relationship with him, we need like-minded individuals. We need like-minded people to be in our lives that can pour into us when we need pouring, but that we can also pour good into them and they'll receive it. And really, it's not just about them. It's not about them just being my Christian friends. And I had to get out of saying that too. Oh, these are my church friends. These are my Christian friends. No, these are my friends. These are God-given, God-sent, God-ordained friendships that are meant to be in my life. Because honestly, y'all, I would not have been able to get through last year without that community. I needed that community to keep me near the cross. Hallelujah. So then from, community and relationship with community, then God really worked on my relationships with my parents. From my mom and my stepfather, who is my father, period, point blank, but also with my biological father, and opening myself up to being able to start to work on forgiveness and loving him and accepting him for who he is, and accepting, the way just things happen. And so being able to work on even just those relationships really started to open my eyes up just to the God that I serve. The God that I serve. I don't have any other words other than the God that I serve, because I am so in awe with how he moves, with how he is, with how he loves, with how he intentionally, places things, and how he intentionally, maneuvers things to happen in our lives, and it all works out. It all works out for the good for those who love him, and for those who are called according to his purpose. And if there's anything that I can share, as I look back over this last year of my life, there's anything that I can share, it's get in relationship with him. And if you don't know where to start, if you don't know where to begin, if you don't know what that looks like for you personally in your walk with Christ, get into a church. Find you a church home. And if you have to just stream a church that you like on Sundays until you can find a church that really ministers to you, do that. But you need to be in somebody's church. You need the word to be spoken over you. You need his presence surrounding you. You need to be amongst the body of believers. And then from there, allow yourself to really, make time for him. You have to make time for him. Making time to have prayer time with him in the mornings, at night, in the middle of the day, whatever that looks like for you, in your car, in your bedroom, in your closet. Find time to get into his word. The only way you're going to know who he is if you learn who he is in his guide, in his life manual. That is the guide to life, his word. And so you're going to find him in his word. And then start to open yourself up to relationships with other like-minded believers, Christians, followers of Christ, not just people that call themselves Christians. Allow yourself to be immersed in community with like-minded believers, because they will hold you accountable. They will teach you things that you didn't even know that you thought you understood, and then they'll take it to a whole nother level. But then you'll find yourself enjoying being able to pour out. And I promise, even just that, even the opportunities to minister, even the opportunities to pray with others, even the opportunities to love on others, is you experiencing God. I don't know if there is anything that I've said today that stuck with somebody, but if there was even just a word that I said, a single word that really stood out to you, drop in the comments and let me know. I want to know, I want to know your testimonies. DM me on Instagram. Let's get connected. Let's talk. I want to know, what is your testimony? How is God using you? And if you are truly looking to be in relationship with God, let me know as well, because I would love to help you, get connected to the Father. Get connected to the one who created you, who knows your every being, who knows every single hair on your head. He knows how many hairs are on your head, and you not even trying to be in a relationship with him. I mean, like, ain't no man I know counting all the hairs on my head. That's all I'm saying. Ain't no friendship in my life where they counting the hairs on my head. What? Let me know. Let's get connected. I would love to just talk with you and learn more about what God is doing in your life. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for already following and subscribing and liking this video. And I will see you on the next video on my channel. Bye, y'all.